Oh, give me a couple minutes.
Okay. Okay. And we are live.
Now recording.
Welcome to the
recording.
Yanggang Roundtable. It is 7:20 p.m. Friday, December 4th, 2020. Who said now recording? Izzy is not here. Throw me off, guys. Nice, good. So we have Ariel, both phase, and our guest today is Ernesto Zamudio. It is good to meet you. Hello.
Hello, how you guys doing today?
We're good. How are you?
Pretty well.
What's on your
Good,
mind? Please introduce yourself.
Okay. So, I work with Artistic Flavors. So this is a wife and husband company.
Nice.
So we make enamel pens, 3D printing, and she does all the drawings. So she does all the character drawings. I basically do all the marketing, graphics, animations, anything has to do with computers, websites. That's what I do. So we started it 3 years ago, and it's been going pretty good.
Fantastic.
I got a 3D pen right here, so I'm
Cool.
familiar with 3D printing and
Nice.
stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, I just barely started 3D printing a couple months ago. So I was trying to figure out the whole machine and everything out. So yeah, so it's a because I know I laser cut too. So we do laser cuts.
Oh, nice.
So we basically manufacture most of the stuff in house. So laser cut, acrylic jewelry, 3D prints. The only thing that's not manufactured here is our enamel pens. Our enamel pens is the only thing that's from China. That's the only product that we only get because there's no American company that can beat that price that they give me. And every American company that makes enamel pens sends it off to China.
Oh, wow.
So even the manufacturers here that say they manufacture, they actually send it off to China. It all depends on the quantity and the amount. They can do it here, but if it's a little amount of quantity, they have to send it out to China. So I even checked to get those manufactured here, but their cost is too high to even, and our prices won't. We can't
How
compete.
has COVID affected your business?
Oh, dramatically. So COVID affected us that because our revenue comes from conventions. So we do Comic Cons, Dapper Day at Disneyland. Think most of all the conventions that are out there, those are our money makers. And we travel. So we go to Texas, we go to up North California, here in Vegas. I'm located here in Vegas. Portland. We went to Portland. So all these conventions were a big factor in our business, and that's where we got our revenue. Our revenue came from. So now we switched to live streaming. So we do Pop Shop Live. That's how we sell, or Instagram sales. We do. So that's how our revenue has. That's how COVID has changed our game.
Wow, yeah. So what is your thoughts on universal basic income?
Oh, we love it. We want it. So take for example, this COVID has affected us, but the stimulus checks has helped our business grow, give us more time and resources to buy the products, to buy the printers, to buy the laser cutters, to buy the accessories that we need to make these products. So
Right.
so stimulus check has helped our business grow, and I think basic income will help us basically grow will grow wherever we want to be at, because it helps us not get second jobs. So basically, before this COVID, so I did the conventions, then I did the second job. My second job was Lyft. I used to drive around Lyft a lot here in Vegas, and that added to the income that we were getting from, because the conventions weren't of enough income to support our family, so I had to get another job. With the stimulus checks, has helped us grow as a business itself.
Yeah, and not to mention, like you're probably gonna get more customers if we do get a universal basic income, because who's gonna be your customers when rent, food, utilities, transportation, then with no disposable income, how can you grow your business when you're gonna have people so strapped that they're not even buying.
And that you brought up a good concern, because that was last year for us. We did so many travel, we made so much money, but end of the day, we had to pay rent, we had to pay light, we had to pay for our food, we had to pay for everything, and we have a kid, so we had to pay for his school supplies, all that work. So that's a good point. When there's something like this in place, you don't have to worry, and we didn't have to worry because we just adapted to it, to this new change. And this new change is, I see, much better because
everybody thinks that, like, like, if this policy will like make people not want to do anything, I think it looks like it'll actually make you want to do more.
yes, no, dude, it's crazy because I tell people, I go, it's gonna make you work harder. There's true, some people are gonna be lazy and take advantage of it, but most of the people that I know in the enamel pen environment that I am, or the group that we help each other out. And all of us, we're not lazy. We just hustle and hustle and hustle. From this, when it hit us,
Right.
we change our mindset. Like, how can this work for us in the best way and help other people? And that's what we did. We did adapt it. We did what we did when we were conventions, and now we're taking it online. We're helping each other share their Instagram, share their posts. And if people get crazy because they're like, oh, you guys are competition. We are, but we're friends and family, and we want to help each other grow. He makes different stuff than I do, and we just want to grow as a family and as a unit to be successful. It makes us work harder. We work nights and days sometimes here at the house. So like my wife, she goes to sleep at 4 a.m. trying to finish some products, masks, 3D printing, putting gluing together. So we consistently work harder, even at this time, even with this free money. It's still, we're working harder. It's not a kickback for us.
I think it's great you have a great work ethic, and I totally respect it. I hate that you have to like demonstrate it. I hate that we have this culture where you have to constantly talk about how hard you work, especially if you don't have money to show for it. So, I mean,
yes,
I just want to tell everybody, relax. I know you work hard. Almost everybody in their way works hard. You know, it's like, it's a human thing to do something with effort and passion if you get good at it, or if there's a reason to do it. It's like, I don't know why we even think about it in these terms, you know?
Because of years and years of propagandist nonsense. Yeah,
So
like trash.
how much does it cost for you to make stuff, and like how much like profit, or like is it worth the cost for you to do this kind of stuff?
Yes, it is. The profit, it is. It really is. So, like, again, if you're making it over on China, the profit is really good. If you're making it in-house, the profit is still good, but not greater. It's not greater than if you get it manufactured somewhere else. And we're on demand, so laser cutting and 3D printing. So we make it once, we put it up there when we order it, or when we do a live show, when they order it, we make it. So the cost effective works out really well. And we're switching everything into 3D printing, because that's where we don't have to do a lot of work. The machine does everything for us in here. We just put it together, and we're good to go. And that's where we're seeing the trend heading in our industry, is it's heading in that 3D printed world. I have there's a couple groups that I'm part of. So there's the enamel pen. So that's one group, and then there's a 3D group where we make people make 3D stuff and sells them. So this group makes more of a profit, because it's basically you get a couple machines, you let them work, do their things, and that's basically it. You just assemble it, put it together, put it in a nice pretty box, and you send it out. And it's really more cost effective, because it's like a worker. A 3D printer is a worker for you. And Yang was right. Yes, it's automated. Yes, basically it is. It's an automation.
Yeah, it's automation.
Automation,
it only makes sense because it's like, if you're working with,
Yes, and that is so true. Yeah. No, it is. UBI will help. It will help a lot of people that have a passion to do what they need to do. well, I was telling a couple of friends is you have to find your passion. You have to find what you want to do, and that's what UBI will help because it's basically taking that stuff that I have to get a job to pay this, to pay that, to pay this, and you're really not accomplishing what you really want to do. And that's me. I don't belong in an office. I would never. I tried it. I don't. It's not my cup of tea. I get in trouble. so so
Right, yeah.
so working for ourselves and busting our butts. I love this. I mean, I really do. There's no
Right, right.
there's no other replacement for me to do this.
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, paperwork and data entry, like I get bored out of my mind, man. It's like if you're a creative, like you want to like mix things. Like I even bought myself like a chemistry set. I bought myself like a drone so I can fly it because I love like all this thing. But you put me just like behind a computer and you just say like, oh, here, just type these things in and data entry and like here repeat these numbers and stuff. Like first of all, I could do that without a high school diploma, and I get really bored. It's so
Yes.
so I don't see like, oh, the dignity of this and the dignity. It's like, shut up. There's no dignity in that. At least for me, there's not. Yeah. Maybe if I was getting started in my life and something like that, and it was just like a little thing, I'd say, okay, I bear it out. But to see myself in office work like 5 years, 6, 7, I'd be like, what are you trying to do to me?
The hilarious truth of the dignity discussion in the United States of America. Dignity does not exist at any level here. Not at the top, not at the
Right.
bottom, not in the middle.
Mitch McConnell has no dignity.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. And on some level,
Yeah,
he feels it.
yeah.
He knows it. He could be prouder of himself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's all a lie. It's like and at a certain point it's like what like for like our government just like pulls money out of its butt.
Mm-hmm.
At least we did that for the companies. It's not really like all of our taxes, but they excuse it. They say like too big to fail this, too big to fail that. No, just give the people at the that at the bottom, and then it'll naturally make its way up because people have to buy food and things like that. And then if people can just afford the basics, but they don't have disposable income, businesses will suffer the most.
Well, and it's
Right.
not just that. Think about it too. You can't like if you had the ability to make something, right? Maybe you made this
Mhm.
beautiful thing. Maybe you don't even have the money to send it to somebody, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
like you got to consider this. Like, I mean, that's kind of my situation. I have certain resources, but I can't mail it out because I'm broke, right? Like, I could give people things
Pretty.
and they might enjoy that or add quality because like example I want to send 3 laptops to Kenya. Okay, I have the laptops, I don't have the money to send it, right? There's an issue here, but if people had UBI we could even send the resources too,
Right. It's just like the mismanagement of our resources. And what really pisses me off is when people like Kevin O'Leary say, oh, you want to redistribute wealth? That's like not good. I mean, we do redistribute wealth, but we distribute it to the top. I mean, like what were the bailouts that we saw in 08 or the CARES Act? Most of that money went to companies.
Yep.
That is redistribution.
Yep.
Except it's just going to the people who already had the bulk of it.
But and the other thing too is you rob people of the opportunity, right? Like if you had the opportunity to use certain equipment, right? Because you had the money, like if you didn't have a 3D printer, right, you wouldn't be making these things, which actually adds value to the money that you're making. And it's just, but it seems so silly that they can't see that, or they do and are ignoring
You
this.
just don't want to acknowledge it. And it's pretty ridiculous. Ernesto, where did your love for when did you first use a 3D printer?
God, it's you can say like 3 months ago. So 3 months ago,
Oh, wow, okay.
So 3 months I spent one whole month just understanding 3D printing, breaking it down, cleaning it, making sure that I can understand this product that I'm making or what's coming out of it. So now I'm like, okay, if something goes wrong, I understand what's wrong. So it's been 3 months since I've been printing. I fell in love with it is because since basically I go to Comic Cons and I see these freaking beautiful toys, and I'm like, I want to make toys. I want to make our own creation. So that's where I fell in love with it.
Got it. So
Do you make your own
like
designs
after
or...
the
Oh, sorry.
Say it again.
is it after the pandemic? Oh, do you
Mhm.
go ahead? Do you make your own designs?
Yeah, so this is one of our original designs that my wife makes. So it's 3 layers, and we put it all together here. So
Okay,
this
cool.
basically magnet, ornament, a brooch, a necklace. So we one design can be a couple of things that people can use and wear and have around their house. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said like so basically if it's 3 months ago, basically this is after the pandemic.
Yes.
Because yeah, okay, yeah. No, I got started as early as like 2016. So can you believe it? And
Wow.
yeah, like I was taking these classes at the YWCA, and the first one was 3D
Uh-huh.
printing. It was like a digital learning academy, and we had this software called Fusion 360, and basically
Yes.
like yeah, okay, so you know about it. Like I would make
Yes.
stuff in there, and it would be so much fun. In fact, you brought it up, like the like the filament.
Yes.
Yeah, I have the same thing. Let me actually. Oh! I made this. I made him myself. This robot. You see
Oh,
this guy?
nice. I love
Yeah,
it.
and
Nice
like
job,
his
Ariel.
arms can move and thing. And no, this was all I designed this myself from scratch. Like so when I really got into it, I made a shit ton of stuff actually. I don't know if I say that word, but I'm gonna be back with some of my other designs because now you've taken me back to that place. Yeah.
No,
No,
it's
see, Ariel, you just got to make some stuff for our podcast now.
Right. Hang on, let me get
I love it.
It's show intelligence, you know. So, like,
like but then I kind of ran out of gas for a while. It was just like because it was such a long time ago. But yeah,
I like for instance, like this thing, this jet, I made this from scratch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I this the yellow submarine.
Nice. I love that
Yeah,
one.
and like this thing for like a card holder.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and what else make like this thing like
I
a
love
helicopter
it.
thing.
Parts that makes
Yeah.
me so happy.
And it actually like spins and stuff, and then I have the designs on my computer, and like this is like the tail rotor.
Uh-huh.
And let's see what else I got here. This was our first project. We
Oh,
write
wow.
our names, so it's
Uh-huh.
all different layers of color for
Nice.
my name. So
Uh-huh.
like right there, and then this one I printed off the internet. It's like a cover for an iPhone,
Uh-huh.
and then basically
Oh,
I
look.
put the 3D
I love it.
like a crown. Yeah, so yeah, I did it, but then eventually like I looked for a job, and I kept applying, and like it didn't work, and then I just got like like I'm not making money, and then like I kind of got out of it. But yeah, it always has a special place with me.
Nice.
3D printing, man.
No, it's coming back with a force. Because there's a lot of people that are making just. I know a person that just does Mickey ears, and she basically sells out almost every day. I know the person
Wow.
that makes what are those lights, Joe? Night lights. She makes night lights that you can put it. She sells out, and she makes a ton of money. We have another girl that makes just pumps that when you pump, a Mickey head pops out, like the foam make the soap pump comes out, and she sells out. So this 3D is coming back with a force because it's helping a lot of people make their own business and make a production without sending it somewhere else in its own in-house. And these people
Right.
have not one or two printers. They have around 20 printers in one of the
Hey.
rooms that's just printing.
Yeah, man.
The printers are less expensive. They're like $300, $200, and you can start off at one, two, and then you just get addicted and you just go from there.
Right. We had MakerBot printers there, but I bought myself a little monoprice printer.
Yes.
And it's those. Okay, so yeah, so if it's coming back, I really want to get involved again, but like I'd rather it was like I was looking to work for somebody who did it, but that was but probably now I don't know, they say, so maybe I'm gonna still look for those jobs, because I mean I had a blast. Just I remember like in my program, like I was just going crazy. I was just like, oh, and then I want to print this, I want to print that. Like I printed the most out of like all of the students. And I would just like stare at the machine, and like the like it goes, and like when it all thing, and I would always love like taking the stuff out when you made it, and like pulling it up and taking away the supports and stuff like that with like goggles and stuff. And yeah, I had like a real passion for it. But eventually, like when the money wasn't quite there, and I said, I don't know how to make this into a thing where I'm making money, I got exhausted. And yeah, but now you're telling me.
Ariel, we just gotta put you to work for our yanggang or Roundtable, right? Like,
yes.
you gotta make us some merchandise
Something
or
like
something.
that.
Yes. Yeah, you can make some
Yeah.
merchandise for the Yang Gang and sell them. I mean, because people look,
Oh,
people love this stuff. It's easier to make. It's customizable. You can't find it in any stores. Stores won't make this because they need too many approvals to make a product. So that's why a lot of people are making their own products, because they don't. It's a small business, and you don't need a guy to go, hey, yeah, approval of this, approval of that. It's just me and my wife when we design this stuff, and let's just knock it out and let's just do it.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I think. So maybe I will.
I feel like,
just
Ariel,
jump back into this stuff.
there'd be some application for like bespoke drone mods for you, since you like
Something
drones.
that.
You know,
Yeah,
I don't know
I
how
like
much
both.
into aerodynamic engineering and customization you are, but I see potential.
Right, but
Well, it could just be decorative. It doesn't have to be engineering worthy. It could be something, you personalize your drone, or do something interesting like that. Ernesto,
Yes.
the 3D printing that you're doing, you can use any sort of materials,
No, it's
or what
there's
type of materials?
so there's couple materials out there. There is actually, it's grown humongous. So now there's actually printers that print out metal, print out even glass, even wood. There's printers that even print out wood. But there's the two ones that we mostly use is a PLA. That's a type of plastic that is actually was created. So 3D printing was created here in America. It was all, and the filament was actually made here, but now most of the stuff is made in China, and then you just import it from there.
Mhm.
But PLA, and then there's a type of plastic you can print. It's not fully plastic. It has it's not fully I'm sorry, rubber, but it's not fully rubber. It's a mixture of plastic and rubber, so it can bend much easier. So the materials have grown dramatically since we started 3D printing. So you can
Well,
see
because
the
they can 3D print houses now, can't they?
yes,
Like,
they do. Yes, so
Yeah.
that's
cement. So
crazy.
yes, and that's the beauty. That's like Sweden and Europe are basically printing their own houses right now with 3D printers. The Sweden company that's actually printing bridges out of metal. So there's a robot that just does printing metals, just prints basically a bridges in their warehouse, and they ship parts out. So basically, there's no full workers. The only workers that are in there is like 3 or 4 people making sure it works. So that's about it.
So it's like industrial sized IKEA.
Yes, it is. That's what Sweden is doing. So Sweden
Wow.
is pushing the limit of 3D printing. So that's why I always look at to them and what they're doing. They're the ones who started mixing with metal, cements, printing their own house with cements. So basically, they can build a house in 3 days faster than any person and use the same materials that we're actually
Automation,
using.
man, more
Yes.
automation.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
that's why I traveled to Sweden, but I didn't know they were doing that. I just know
Yeah.
I like what they're doing in Scandinavia because they seem to have their stuff on the ball when it comes to, you know, all this tech stuff. And like I know that like there was one country over there that was in charge of voice over IP services like Skype and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that was.
I wanted to
Yeah.
I wanted to confirm with you that I have the correct website pulled up. It's artistic flavors with a Z.
Yes, it is.
.com.
Yes, it is.
And are you the maker of all of the products? Is this entire store yours?
So it's in.
Or are
It's
you-
the. So the maker is my
Mhm.
wife. She designs most of it, and then we collab with different artists. So we collab with artists in California, Australia. What's our other collab in Seattle? So we do different collabs to help make their pins. Even in Texas, we have an artist in Texas too. So we help other artists get their pins running, and we pay them royalties, or we give them some of the products so they can sell itself. So, but majority is my wife's designs. She does everything on digital. So she uses a tablet, and she uses this program called Infinity Design. Competition with Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator. So it's less expensive too. And that company is from Sweden too.
And if
So
people were interested in specifically your 3D printing designs, what would they be looking at on this website?
so we haven't released that yet. So these are
Oh,
yeah. So these are all
Mm.
demos. We do it only for live shows right now. That's the only people that can get these right now. So we're just so overwhelmed with different types of products. So that's our next level, is to put some of this 3D products into the website itself, to push it much forward. But we're right now, these are all just tests that we're doing right now. And then if whoever wants it on the live show, that's when we make it itself. But that's the next project to do for us, is to add this stuff to the website itself.
Cool.
okay, that
Yeah,
explains
like
that.
put links.
I was like, how do I, show people,
Yes.
showcase some of the stuff you're making? And I just see
Yes.
traditional products right now. Okay.
Yes, traditional enamel pins, t-shirts, stickers. That's mostly the traditional stuff. That's the stuff that we started with. That's the stuff that's helping us push forward. But we're trying to move forward to acrylic and 3D printing. That's what we're trying to move towards, so we can make everything in here. And the enamel pins do sell really well for us. They sell really well. It's just we want to make different items that we don't have to send overseas a lot, and come with the upfront cash to pay them off right away. So that's our goal.
So if you're a new artist wanted to collaborate with you, or an artist that we know wanted
Uh-huh.
to try to start a collaboration with you, are you still accepting other collaborations?
Yes. So the collabs are it's always open to us. It goes through my wife. My wife picks every single person that they collab. She makes a decision on that part itself. It basically comes down, if she feels them, she loves it, then we'll move forward from there. But most of the collabs do come to us. We don't search them at all. So most of the collabs that we have,
Word of
were
mouth.
word of mouth, that we like to help out. And sometimes they don't want to make the pin, so we'll make the pin, or we'll make the stickers. We'll upfront the money to do all of that stuff, because they don't want that upfront cost, and we'll take the blunt from itself.
Well, because I mean, you
And do
said
you
you're
have like
well, I was gonna say, I mean, you
I
guys
had-
kind of mutually benefit from each other, right? If they sell their stuff, by being upfront with costs, you're able to help them make that extra money, and so are you, right? So like,
Yeah.
but lucky for you, you have that income, right? So
Applying and like it didn't work, and then
He's out there, and we're trying to help you navigate to that. So yes, yeah, you're right.
definitely now I'm here. I want to stay in touch with you because now if I'm deciding to kind of like get back into this, maybe to help, but like I have so many designs that I made and that I did and stuff like that. And like, I don't know, maybe like this is pretty cool. Like it's reignited my passion a little bit.
And I can send you a lot of links to all these businesses that basically are just doing 3D printing. That's all they do, and they're really successful. They're like, again, the company that just makes ears. They sell out into November, and then from November to January, they take a vacation. They close their shop.
Wow, that's
They don't
awesome.
sell they don't sell anything after that point, and they live in Florida. So
Cool.
and yeah, they
I'm
really sell out.
I'm here in California in LA.
Hmm.
Dang it. Oh yeah. I had my stuff on Shapeways.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know what that website is, but I had it, but I didn't know how to get traffic to be able to like go to it and stuff. But I have like a lot of these designs on Shapeways, so maybe I'll see. But now, but because like 2 years after 1.5, I kind of like I was using it a lot, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm tired. But now I think I want to get back. If I see that there's like economic potential in it, like that boosts me. That's another thing with UBI. It's like, even though you're doing something you love, I still want to. I sometimes you just don't want it as a hobby. You want to see it like go somewhere. You want to see it change something. You want people to know about it. So, and then when that doesn't happen, you get kind of tired. Yeah.
And that's true.
The interesting thing I think about the 3D printing right now is that it's become one of those new STEM education sort of must-haves these days for libraries all over the country. Public libraries that are ahead of their, that are doing their best to keep up with the times, are getting these machines in and offering free lessons or free 3D printing to patrons who want to come in and try to print something.
Yes.
Maker spaces. Maker spaces are the ones in the libraries. That's what their name is. And you know what the funny thing is, Ernesto, I don't know if you use this, but like, you see this hairspray? Actually, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I spray it out there. I heat up the printer bed, and then I do it like that. It works like a charm. Like everyone's using these like if you don't have the thing to make a platform, because then it like sticks, and it works better than like these default things that like come with the printer. It's just the best. And I'm like, this works great.
No, yeah.
You have a special tip for people who are just getting out started in the 3D printing. But I would suggest, if anybody was trying to learn it or wanting to get into it, to check out your local library, especially in the big cities, and see if they are offering this type of skill, and actually offering their machines and offering the materials. Everything's all set up for you in order to get started.
Yes,
and you can bring your own design.
Yeah.
You bring your own design and you let them know what you'd like to print. And different libraries have different things set up. So
It's called,
if you
STL, they're like in files.
I find it interesting that they're actually offering these things for free to people who are doing it sometimes. I mean, and I feel like if I were to buy all of these materials myself, it would be prohibitively expensive to just try it and see if you were good at it. But you find out through the library if you're actually really good at this.
Yes, this is an expensive hobby, so it really is. It's a really, because to get a good machine, to get the filaments, you have to make a small amount an investment, and time. You have to have a lot of time and dedication to make sure what you're doing, to do what you're doing. And you're right. So you go to your libraries, and that's how the best way to even get your foot at the door, so you don't have to spend this much amount of money to do this. We just took the hit because we wanted to learn so badly. We just wanted to dive our foot in.
You're a manufacturer, though. You're not just playing around for a hobby. You are going to be pumping out these things soon.
Yes. No, our goal is, if you can see, our goal is to have a full wall of 3D printers. That's our goal. That's the end of year goal, or the beginning of next year. That's what it is. That's my wife's goal, and that's our goal. It's to have that. Because it's. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ernesto, you see, and that's the thing for me. For me, it's like most of my life I've been flying solo. It's like I'm an only child in like like that, and like a lot of my family isn't interested in the same things that I am. So it's really hard to turn a hobby into like a business when you don't have the right kind of like network and mentorship and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
And that's a big part. So my background, I'm Mexican, and what I do, nobody understands in my family. I basically don't do nothing to them. I stay
Right.
home and do nothing.
Yeah.
That's when they look at me and they go, that's what they say. So, but when they come and see what we do and spend the nights, and they're like, oh my God, you do a lot for what you guys are making. But it is right. You do have to have the right network. You do have the right to have right partner. You just have to have the right environment to move forward in this. And I'm lucky enough to have my wife with me because she's my partner in crime. She's the brain and I'm Pinky. So so from
Is
Animaniacs.
your wife also Mexican?
Right. I know.
No, she is Filipino. She's actually Filipino. So yeah, she's Filipino, and without her, I wouldn't have we wouldn't have moved forward. I wouldn't move forward doing this. So
She's very entrepreneurial. She's
yes,
the best person that can
yes.
get all the paperwork pushed.
Yes, she's the paperwork. I'm the dreamer. I'm the guy that lives at the clouds.
Yeah.
She's an artist, but she pushes the company move forward. I'm the you can call me the
Yeah.
hype guy. I'm Flavor Flav. That's what I call myself. I hype all our artists. I hype her up. I hype all the products up. I'm the one always front of the camera. So that's why we're a good mixture between me and my wife.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. You see, that's the thing that like I don't have a partner. It's really hard doing solo. But then if I like get the right guidance, I mean, I can kill it.
That's very important that
yeah.
you brought that up, though. Guidance. We need people to hold our hands when we're first learning something. How are you even going to understand how the different mechanics work, the language? You almost have to have somebody to hold your hand through it, at least in the beginning, right? And you can't really invest in it during that time either, right? I mean, you have such a huge learning curve. And then like maybe you want to customize the thing to your style too, right? But if you don't even have the opportunity to test it out, and this is another reason why certain education is really good too, right? If you had colleges with access to these things, right? But we have such a huge price tag on these places that it's like, is it really worth our time and
Yeah.
money?
Well, like, yeah, and to add to that, Faye, like, look, I grew up in a relatively kind of like middle upper class kind of thing. It's like my mom had like a home in Bel Air. I mean, after I graduated from university, I got a job that I could do out of high school, like it like one of those boring office jobs. You know what I'm talking about, Ernesto? So
Yes.
I said until I got bored out of my brain. It was with my uncles, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It's driving me nuts. It was like data entry and stuff like that. So then that's when I went and I learned the 3D printing stuff, and I was really excited. But then Yang also said that these job retraining programs have a 0 to 15% success rate. And basically what happened, all of a sudden I found an orthodontic lab in like Manhattan Beach. It was pretty far, and I had to like fight through traffic. And then the guy running the orthodontic lab, he was like, oh yeah, like here, I can give you work to do. And I was working with him for one day, and but the traffic, and then he wanted me on a surprise day, and he said he would pay me, and then I said I can't make it on that day, but I'll come another day. And then I kept calling him back, and I got no answer from him, even though he said okay. So I'm like, what the hell is this? And he didn't even pay me for that day that I did all that stuff for him, and he was busy. So we kind of like had an honor system that I'm just training, and then we'd record these hours and he paid me later. He just completely went off the radar. And then eventually the same 3D printing program I graduated from, I was a teacher's assistant for it. and I got paid indirectly, like through the city. But they said it was only for 300 hours. Once your 300 hours is up, that's the end of this program, and we can't pay you anymore. So then I'm like, okay, well, that was good, but like, this is such bullshit. It's like, we want to do something, but it's like, oh, it's just not there, or you have to figure it out on your own. And they're like, oh, but you're lazy and you don't want to work. How do you, like, screw you? Like, that's not what's going on over here, you know? And it's like, and then they don't even teach you about like that, because with that guy that I did work for, I said, you know, I'm just gonna honor him. I'm not gonna do any like paperwork or thing. He seems like a guy. I found this thing in the paper that he needed someone to help, and then I'm like, oh, you know, I thought I could trust the guy, but then like he doesn't call me back and things. So
it's
it's
really unfortunate that happened to you. You literally just got scammed out of your time, right? Like,
yeah.
and people do that shit. I one time had someone pay me online and cancel the payment after they confirmed it with me, and I left, right? Like,
Right.
I was like, are you kidding me? Because I didn't press the accept the money like instantly, like, you know, like I lost all of it, and it was like $80. It was like a lot of money
no
I
one,
needed.
yeah,
Actually,
that
maybe
this
more
is
than that.
bull, because no one like stands up when young people or people who are just entering the job market get screwed. No one is our voice. No one is our help. No one is like guiding you or telling you, and the schools don't talk about it. Sometimes your parents don't know about it, your teachers don't know about it. But where the hell is our like representation in this, you know, system right here? Bullcrap, man. You know, and even when I did get a regular retail job, it was just for seasonal. And then they're like, oh, you're done. It's like, no, you do realize that people do want to work, but there's just not enough money in the system to justify people that are working.
It's almost like getting jaded, right? Isn't that the phrase where you're just like,
oh yeah,
at the last minute, you know?
I've done so many. I like a degree, a training program, an online course, you know, all this stuff, like follow these things, like a Udemy kind of thing, and then it's just like training and learning and figuring out and learning and training. But then when it comes to getting money for something you do, that's when they're like, don't you want to volunteer instead? You don't really need money. Like, oh, I say I pay you later and all this stuff, and then we have these idiots up there in Washington D.C. saying like, oh, but people are lazy and all that stuff. We're not lazy. You guys are stupid. It's like, you know, it just pisses me off, because it's like, you want to be productive, you want to help out society, but they don't have the infrastructure in place, and there's so many like red herrings and liars and scammers out there that you're never like made aware of, or they just don't care to like.
I think that's why it's important that we have like this network of the Yang Gang, right? Like, we can keep each other accountable. We can, like, if somebody's scamming, we can point them out, right? You know, that's actually happened. Like the tabletop book scam or whatever you guys talk about. I don't know. Anyway, a bunch of people invested in a tabletop book. Oh, go ahead.
You said you're out in Las Vegas right now, right?
Yes, I am.
And during the Yang campaign also. So, are you familiar with the other Las Vegas Yang gang out there, or?
No, I'm not familiar with them. I actually met them a couple of times at some shows out here, but that's about it. We wanted to get involved, but it was really difficult for us because we traveled a lot. But the only thing we did for the
okay though, I'm a fully nomadic person, and I am part of multiple cities of Yang gang members. Okay,
but I spread the word. I spread the word.
Okay, I'm just saying, you can like go online, go on Facebook, be like, hey, Yang gang, anybody around? Like, I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah, but I spread the word.
Did your wife gang up with you at least? Was your wife also Yang gang with you?
Oh yeah, no. So the thing is, I fell in love with Yang when he was in Joe Rogan, because I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, humongous. So I fell in love with him on there, and I made her watch that. and she fell in love with him right away, right after that show. And then from there on, we just started. We were in the bandwagon. We were the whole thing. The whole we wanted him to be the next president. The whole works. We did the whole works, and everything. So yeah, we're both Yang Bang. Yeah.
Hanging.
Because I'm a kind of alone out here in East Texas, so I never had a gang unless I traveled. So when I went to Houston or went to Dallas or went to California, I could find other people to gang up with. But in my own town, not really.
Oh,
And Ernesto, where did you get in touch with Faye? Or where did you hear about our podcast?
oh, but through Facebook, I basically messaged her. She said she wanted some people,
cool.
and I'm just, yeah, let's do this. I'm willing to do it.
I mean, that's pretty much exactly how that went down.
I kind of see like the most interesting creative people are in this movement. Just when I tell you, just like science, tech, 3D, you name it. Just like artists, creatives, and I think that speaks. It's like we want. This is the 21st century. And we like look at our politicians, man. Like 60 years and older. It's like I was looking at like Congress and Senate for like maybe like a 30-year-old somewhere in there. I hardly find anyone 65, and I'm like, hello, like what the hell, like yeah.
I wish we had more accountability within like the Senate and all this stuff. Like we elect people and then we're like, no, we're gonna throw them out.
Well,
and then we don't even do that, even when we have like tons of evidence. Because like why wouldn't we? Like there's no accountability. What,
like how many vacations?
Because now we have to do another election. How about we get to work or something? I don't know.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I mean, there has to be a way. Is that like when they like politicians should come with like a money back guarantee or something like that? So like if they don't do what they said they did, like we can have like a refund policy on there and be like, okay, get lost. Like like okay, like it should come with like that thing. It's like if promises not delivered or not being intended to deliver, like constituents can phase out or like switch or somewhere in the contract. That would be good. If I mean, yeah, it should be more like a business. No business would accept people working for them as bad and as competent as this. I mean, at least I don't think so. I don't think like if your business was like hemorrhaging money, your employees all want to go on vacation. Be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, we need you in here, but then when the virus happened, and they like, what the hell, like thing, like that's the thing, and just talk about like how like just all these Republican senators are just stealing your money by not using, because it's our tax money and they're just using it as their personal piggy bank.
Really toy like microphones and have them talking to it like I'm a reporter and like make it ridiculous. And
yeah,
then,
do
wait,
that.
And then the co-host can be Marshmallow.
Right? Yeah.
I'll think of fucking bonkers. I love underestimate me.
Why
Bitch,
not?
Bring it on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, somebody has to get to the bottom
right
of it.
now, and you're on your way.
I'm sorry.
You're on your way out to Georgia right now.
That's correct.
Faye, you are on your way out to Georgia right now. And how do you think things are going to be different from Iowa right now in Georgia once you get there? Participated in the big Iowa push when Yang Gang was out there.
Well,
with the pandemic and everything being a little bit different, what's it going to be like?
The thing about this time versus last time is I'm not going for door knocking. I want to go onboard people if I can. I want to hear people's stories right from the ground level, and I want to be able to tell my story, right? And so I'm going to try and take different kind of precautions. I don't feel like the way I necessarily yang people is very stereotypical. I'm like, maybe you'll see me at the bar and we'll joke and I'll talk about my life. And then instantly you're like telling me about this person I need to call. You didn't know it, but you just helped me with a lead, right? And it's happened so many times, guys. And so this is very effective for me because if you onboard somebody, then they literally help me get somebody else sometimes, which means they've just onboarded somebody and they didn't even like, in their mind, they're just trying to help me out. But really, they're helping a giant movement that nobody's even fucking heard of. So I just want to like, by the way, guys, some shit's going down. Haven't you noticed? And so if all the other like film cameras are there, now imagine if I look like a reporter too, I can connect with these people and they're the ones with the fucking video camera. So you bet your ass I'm going to get like I need them to look my direction. My truck is a fucking beacon, right? I didn't have my truck last time. And last time, like, honestly, in January, I was like wilting. My soul was wilting a little bit. Okay. And now I feel like I have this energy. I'm alive. I have understanding and passion and knowledge, right? Like, and a plan. None of that, right? I had just gotten out of a woman's shelter and I fell in a hole. My leg hurt. I was limping and then my grandma died, right? So, like, so much the first time. And I feel like this time, now I have support networks from all across the US, right? Technically the world. Oh, I'm ready for this. And I've been like dreaming up the like conversations. I'm like, who do I need to talk to? What kind of conversations? What doors do I need to go through? This is nothing.
But
I
like,
had before.
don't. But take like full advantage and kind of like don't how to say that, like take things for granted. Like how can I say this? You like if someone says like, oh, but we can do this thing later or like whatever, like just make sure that, because some of them are like kidding, just kind of coax that shit gets done like right there and then, because a lot of people will want to like because sometimes when you're in that good place and you don't take advantage of like an opportunity or something that happened, you might not be able to get back to it. So still be on your toes, like, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm generally
That's
way.
happened to me.
I mean, that's kind of how I live my life. But I mean, it's always good to hear it again. So I do appreciate it, right?
Yeah, because I thought I had times where I could have really taken advantage of an opportunity, but I'm like, whatever, it'll present itself again, or I'm really having a good time, so I'm not in the mood to like take advantage of that opportunity. Like I'm okay as is. But then like 1 month later, I'm like, oh, like if I did that at that time, like I was so happy, like I physically got to that place. Like, okay, I'll just this is gonna be crazy and it's gonna sound offensive to like people who are financially struggling, but I'll just say it anyway. I had the opportunity to like take a vacation in Sweden, and then there were like these $300 helicopter tours, and I could like really afford it, and I really want to do them, but I was like, I want to save my money, maybe something else. And then when I came back, like I regretted that decision like so much. I'm like, when do I get a chance to do that? Like, why didn't I just take advantage? I could have took pictures. It would have like lasted me for like so long, and like it was something to get back to. And then I'm like, damn, I should have just, and that's why I bought my drone like during a pandemic, and even though I got that stimulus check, because I was all like, you know what, like I deserve to be happy or something like that. Like I kind of said, so just like you, Ernesto, with like all the 3D printing things you bought, maybe it was a little bit of a risk, but it's like, you're here and thing, and it gives you like this joy. So don't just, pass up something because you think like, oh, like it'll come later. I'm just saying that.
Well, sometimes though, about those moments that you're talking about, yes, it's good to like step into them if the opportunity presents itself, but I think it's very important to measure the criteria of the moments you're stepping into, right? Okay. So you can have an amazing opportunity. Maybe you have this like, people keep thinking I'm talking to them. All right, this is the second person. I'm confused. It's like no. Anyway, so like you could have this person offer you to like, hey, let's work together, blah blah blah, here's my card, I'll make all your dreams come true, right? But they give you like the ickiest feeling ever, right? Okay, what's your criteria? What's worth the risk? Do you really want to work with this person that you already feel icky with? Okay, maybe pass that criteria. Even if it's all your wildest dreams, did you sell your soul to make that happen, right? And so then what you do is you take that criteria of like, okay, yeah, well, now I see what I want. It wasn't that
Yeah,
person.
I'm not.
Let's change the
I'm not
players.
saying. I'm not saying sell your soul. But let's just say that. Okay. For instance, let's say like you made a promise to someone in Georgia that like you'd meet them at a bar at like this time, and let's say like 30 minutes before that, Andrew Yang said like, hey, but I have time to talk to you like right now. I'm saying like seize that and like call that other person and say we have to do this like at another time because I just got I just got this. So you see the thing, but then you say like, well, Yang is gonna be here, who cares? And I'm gonna meet that person at the bar, and I'm just gonna tell like I'll tell
that
you,
person
like,
must be much more important than Yang.
right, exactly. Like yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying like prioritize these things because you may never it may never come up again, and then like make that link when you have that opportunity instead of just thinking that it'll just like come. It may come later, but it may come later in like 2 years.
So you know what ends up happening is I have people who reach out to me, right? We start a conversation, kind of give them the download of whatever, is going on in my life, right? And they talk to me and they kind of give me a little synopsis of what they look like, things that interest them, because I'm really good at asking like questions, right? I'm like, what kind of things are you passionate about? And then I keep that in the back of my mind, right? And then, time goes by, I'm like, you need to talk to this person, right? And I'm like helping connect people.
Right.
And or maybe I need resources, but I have to be able to like know what criteria these people could meet, if you will. Like, are they a friend? Are they a peer, a coach, a mentor, or a cheerleader? Like, these are roles I should be making sure that like I'm at least somewhat like unconsciously categorizing, so that when something comes up, I'm like, peer, I need to talk to someone who works in the same field as me, right? Or I'm really emotional about a boy, maybe I need to talk to a friend, right? Or whatever it be. So but what happens is I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people. It's hard to freaking keep track of. Okay. I'm just a very social butterfly, if you will. Right. And so I'm actually kind of happy when certain conversations like disappear. Like, I'm not trying to ghost people, but I'll be straight up to their face. I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm really bad with texting back. I am so sorry. It is not you. I'm just busy. Please be patient with me.
Right.
Nudge me if you must,
but I'm
but
saying,
I didn't mean to.
right. No, I'm talking about the movers and shakers, and if you get a chance to like plan and follow through and like to create like or get people on the record of like saying things that's gonna help later. I'm talking about like go for that and don't pass that up because
more. I definitely
it sounds to me like
record.
It sounds to me like this is Ariel. If Ariel had the chance to go out to Georgia, this is his plan. This is what he would execute. As he would target the most important people in the state and go after them because he has the physical capability to do so once he's there. So I like that you have this. You just wanted to.
I like
see if they could do this vicariously for you.
I like finding
so Ernesto,
that's the truth. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it sounds to me like Ariel is saying that Ernesto, you actually made some of these major purchases after the coronavirus came along. Did you actually use any of the stimulus to help you with that? Also, the small business loans, were you able to get some of those?
No, we didn't get the small business loan because they came with a lot of restriction and a lot of rules. Yes, a lot of stuff that we didn't want to touch at all. A couple of our friends did do it, but there was a lot of underlying things that you had to agree with. So we just got the stimulus check, and the stimulus check. And you're right. After we got the stimulus checks, we actually bought two printers. So we bought two 3D printers. We bought a laser cutter. We bought a printer that prints on fabrics. So we bought that. So we bought mostly everything that we needed for our business itself.
And you used it it sounds
Yeah.
like you used it very judiciously, because that is a lot of items that you got, and I feel like you already told us this earlier in the conversation. But the reason I wanted to bring it back to this is because using your resources wisely is something that I think people do not believe that other people can do.
Yes.
I myself can always use
Right.
my money correctly, use my resources correctly. But if you ask about anybody else, then no, we don't trust them. Those other people.
Right.
aren't gonna do it.
Yeah.
No, and
Yeah.
that is true. I'm just again lucky. I have to bring my wife up. She's the one that we sit down with every purchases we made with this stimulus checks, what we're gonna get, what we're gonna do. We are actually gonna help a couple of our friends that needed some help, but at the end they figured out what they needed to do with that. But yes, a lot of people don't understand, or a lot of people think if you give people a bunch of money, they're just gonna waste it. Most of the time they're not. Most of the time they're just gonna
Right.
do what what their best interest is, and that's food, pay the rent, pay something that will come in handily. And a lot of people think that's just wasting it. We really isn't wasting it at all. You're paying your rent, you're paying your food, you're paying this
No
just so you can be
drugs,
happy.
no
Yes.
beer, you know,
Yeah.
right?
But you know what? I'm
Where you
just gonna
going
cut
out
in
and
with that. I'm gonna cut in with that. Maybe that person has needed a beer for a while. Okay.
Oh no, you
Maybe.
do, you do.
Yeah. And
right, you do. But
someone gave me 3
I'm saying the
installments of the freedom
stereotype is
dividend,
done.
right? They gave me 3 installments of the freedom dividend, right? And so I was able to have that money. Well, I actually ended up achieving one of my life goals of going to Disneyland, and I was able to afford it for the first time. And I cried, right? Because I always felt like there was this wall that I could never go through that door because I was always too broke. So I just took that power back. And then 1 week later, it closed because of COVID. So I was like, all right.
Yeah. No,
Right,
you
right.
do need to make yourself happy. Yes.
Yeah, like what's the point of life without fun and happiness? And this is really important. Like this is why I'm telling you, because when Andrew Yang came to Long Beach, and I saw him, it was because it was for some Spanish radio thing with a bunch of other presidential candidates. Things like one by one by one and knock them out. Like I'm saying, we have this whole consortium, compendium of evidence that, first of all, UBI doesn't make people lazy and irresponsible and all that stuff. It's helped the economy, it's helped businesses, it's helped with people's nutrition, it helps with people mental, and then
my question is more if you didn't want to waste that time and you needed valuable information, and this is the only opportunity you could extract it from him, or valuable
Well, I think Ariel's actually in the opposite direction of saying, instead he's asking questions only so that he can let Yang know something, that he's actually wanting to talk up to Yang and let him know the things that he's thinking about, which is, what's the plan, boss? Give us we can execute it.
Yeah, 100%. Like what is the plan
and
here?
if he doesn't have a plan, I'll bet he'll have a few ideas.
I'll be very disappointed. I'll be disappointed in him. I'll be honest. Yeah, because we have no time to waste, people. Things are, some people are happy and that's great. Right? And
it seems like Andrew's plan is, let's first go get Mitch out of there, right? So that seems to be the plan right now.
Yeah.
The plan right now is Faye is executing it with us. Faye is going to go to Georgia and let us know what's going on the ground over there, right? We have an investigative reporter with us.
Yeah. Right. So, because let me tell you about my personality is I never showed up to class late, or I've ever been absent. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And one of the greatest feelings for me is checking something off a checklist so it's out of my head. Once I can just go check and it's out of my head and I have that thing, it's done. So that's the thing. And that's why I hate, one of the things I hate the most about our schooling system and just about our job market in general is everything is so up in the air. It's you give the interview and they're like, oh, we may hire you, we may not, or may that. It's like, excuse me, I got the education, like you said, I get the education. I got the training, like you said, I got the training. And now you're telling me a job is like going into the casino. I'm playing blackjack here. I don't know what to do. It's like, I mean, like that's the part.
With Mitch, though. What if I
What?
had a conversation with Mitch, though? Like
Mitch?
what? Yeah,
What,
like what kind of things would I like?
I mean,
Ernesto, do you have any?
Yeah.
Do you
what do
have
think?
any ideas about what you would like to have said to Mitch or to Andrew Yang if they were actually able to go and speak with them?
That's what that's what me and my wife we try to do. We try to help other people in ways that we failed dramatically and tell them, look, this is how we did it, and it failed dramatically. Here's some things that we learned in that direction, and help them that way.
Cut the learning curve.
Yes.
I mean, Faye, what you told me about what would I tell Mitch is just like here's what I just say, like, okay, so corporate welfare is fine, but like direct checks to the people isn't. Like, how can you justify that? How can you justify printing free money for like corporations and banks and like Wall Street, but the people get zero? Even though the people who put us in this mess are the same people that you're bailing out, but you're not helping us, even though these were not our decisions. Like, we didn't create the virus. So if you want to talk about personal responsibility, we have no responsibility in making the virus. And if there's stay-at-home orders where you are forcing people to stay at home and not to go to work, then why aren't you paying them? Because you can't do that. You can't shut down, someone's.
About a spreadsheet that we put together just yesterday or today, I forget, it was yesterday, and it's a spreadsheet of showing how money is if you were loaned $2,000 a month rather than given $2,000 a month, and how much interest that would create. And I think one of the things that Americans don't understand is that money is created as debt in our country.
Yes.
So every time we use money, we actually create it as new money plus debt of the equal amounts, right? So if you borrow $1,000 from the bank, you've created $1,000 of new money that didn't exist before. But you've also created a $1,000 debt because you're borrowing it. And the federal government does this. The federal government actually borrows all of the money into existence from the very beginning, from the Federal Reserve banks. And so so the government's doing that right now. And and so I guess the question I would have for a lot of our lawmakers would be that, do you understand our money system? And that, we're creating all of this money, but we're not creating the little bits of interest that are attached to it. And so, so I feel like that's something that is not taught in schools. Do you teach? I mean,
No.
At what age do you think we'll be able to teach this to our children? I'm thinking the minute percentage and then maybe multiplication, we could already be teaching this to them.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. So no, yeah. It's easily if I had the knowledge that I have, what I have right now, when I was going to school, I wouldn't have started as a mess. That the debt that I have it got, and that's why I want to avoid my kid to do that. So you're right. We're basically we teach them just the basic fundamentals of earning money, saving money. What do you need to buy? Are you sure you want to buy this? That you broke it, so you pay it. It's certain things like that, and okay. So when you get money, certain things you need to do, and that's what just the fundamentals. Just to start them off to make them understand, and then we take them to convention shows. So we show them how to get money, basically sell to the products to the people, so they know that money doesn't come out of nowhere. Somebody has to want something.
That's an incredible lesson, though, to teach, because kids are not getting that opportunity.
No, they're not.
Which is just amazing. But you know what amazes me? Like, at a certain point, I said this before, like, we have to blame ourselves, because I don't care what people think, but I do blame my parents for not getting pissed off at my school for not talking about these things. I mean, it like just think about if
but
all
they're
of our
not there. They can't watch it.
who
They're not
cares? I mean, they don't.
monitoring
What do you mean, Faye? Like, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that at all, Faye. They are there.
weren't
What do you mean they weren't? Well, then show up. They're your kids. I mean, like, what are you talking about? You know, it's like
my
you can
mom
take.
was a single mom for a while, and
Well, you
she
can take
worked-
like one day off from like whatever it is. One
She
day, just 30 minutes, whatever it is, or make a phone call and just say, "What the hell are you people doing?" One phone call for 5 minutes, 4 minutes, and just say, "What the hell is going on over here?" You know, it's like it's not rocket
But I don't think that
science.
5-minute phone call is going to make the change that you're hoping for.
Not
I mean,
not just
this
one.
is a systemic problem.
I'm
that
talking about like I'm no, but I'm talking about like if like 100 parents at the same time did that, something would change. If like 100 parents did that,
So
like
we could do that now.
simultaneously.
We really could do that now, right? But
do
how
it.
do you organize it?
You could be,
Oh yeah,
you could be the parent now.
I don't know. Yeah,
No.
like if I had
Well,
a kid,
the
which
thing
I
is,
don't, but if I
Ernesto,
did,
though-
I'd be on their ass.
Well, you could do that as a member of the community. Now, Ernesto, or you could be there as a product of the machine. You say, I went through this machine and you guys didn't teach me. But Ernesto is teaching the children on a level of personal finance and business finance. Faye and I are talking about on the level of structural, how the money actually works.
Yes.
And I think that is something that people hide from us. They hide it from us. You know, they'd be more likely to send you a free, financial education class if you're in debt. How do you get out of debt? All of this kind of stuff. People are constantly selling books about it, but people hide from you the true nature of what money is.
Yeah,
Like,
I
money
really didn't
don't,
know until this last year. Like, it was only until this last year I even understood money even this much. And like, I still barely know. I had to literally come to your house and look and learn, right? Like that's
Yeah.
and I'm 31.
And we definitely need like more hands-on kind of things in our schools, because I know if I had no, I'm not even saying like money. I'm saying like if like how does a business work? A business makes money, so it's like maybe have like an owner of some business chain or some supply store or whatever come to a school and actually talk about like how this, like the distribution and the supply lines and like the communication between the supply lines. How do they factor how much something costs? Like,
I think you need to get in touch with the Department of Education of some kind. I think like you have so much passion, even if you made a video speaking to them and you could share it and tag them. I mean, that might be the quickest, most effective way you personally could do it. And then post it into like groups on Facebook for teachers and stuff, and then get them to look at it too. Have them send it to maybe their lawmakers or the education departments. You're super passionate about it, and I think you really could speak a lot to them. But I think these are the techniques you might have to actually try, because otherwise, I think it was just going to keep frustrating you, right?
But also, one real problem with trying to make change in education is that public education has a sort of it has so many different levels of responsibility, right? In order to change the textbooks, that's at a national level, right? And so there's but each state is technically responsible for their own education systems, and then each of those states maybe choose which textbooks they're going to adopt as the standards. But then you've got individual school districts that then decide things also, and so it's just so fragmented.
It's a web.
It's difficult.
It's a web. It's bureaucratic.
Well,
yes. So I have like 3 children, Ernesto. My 2 oldest, I cannot see them. But my oldest is already 20. And so the 2 older children, when they were younger, I was very involved mom. I was a stay-at-home mom. And so I was actually at school with them quite a lot. Like Ariel is saying, why don't the parents show up and things like that. I participated in the PTAs. I participated in a lot of things where I had a chance to make some changes. Even as a student, I was on some panels where I was able to help make the BC school district Artesia, Bellflower, and Cerritos in California.
Okay.
So I was able to some things that people would discuss, but you'd be incredibly surprised at how well, maybe not at all. You wouldn't be surprised at how difficult it is to make change happen.
Yes.
You can be satisfied with something, but everyone else is not there with you. So, for example, something as simple as school lunch. You would say, okay, well, school lunches are terrible for children. Everybody can see it. You know, these are terrible school lunches. But in order to, satisfy this and that issue, right, there are all these different things that constrain it. So you can only have this type of lunch. You can only pay this amount of money for lunch. I'd like make a simple suggestion like, well, how about we just have more local cuisine, in our local schools? Like I was living in the Pacific Northwest where Faye is familiar with that area. And I was like, I've never seen salmon show up on, a menu here. I've never seen rhubarb or anything that grows naturally, here as this is our natural produce in the area. Why don't I see this in lunch? Surely we could incorporate something local. And even that, another parent would say, well, I don't want my child going to school and getting fancy lunches and then they come home and ask me for it. It's like, oh, they eat salmon, they eat shrimp at school, so they come home, they want salmon and shrimp at home. I'm like, salmon's really fancy, like it's just local produce. So you just never know. It's like this, the change is just, whenever you do something political, we want things to be truly revolutionary, like Ariel's talking about. You just wish that, tomorrow, overnight, weed is just, all of a sudden, marijuana is now our new, it's fine. Everybody can use it. It's prohibition's over.
Yeah, the
years
House
and years and years.
Yeah,
So,
that just happened today.
The House
it
passed
didn't happen like. Oh, okay, that's wonderful. I'm glad that we brought it up. That happens to be here.
But
and present.
I'm just
Perfect.
I'm just amazed though that it's like because like
when I was like very young,
the topic
right?
of money is always
when I was going to school. The topic of marijuana being legalized had 20 years by the time I got to college. So over a progression of decades is how we finally got to this point, and that's awesome to hear that great news. Go ahead, Ariel.
Well, I'm just amazed though that like the one thing that I always hear people like stressing about and complaining about is what we're talking about is money. And I just find it amazing that when like kids are like 6 and 7 and 8 years old, everyone's like, oh no, like they can think about that later. Let them just like like that. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking? So they can grow up to be like you, constantly like stressing out and stuff. And then they don't put their pressure on the teachers and the schools and stuff. It's like, oh, did you learn your English? Did you learn your math? Did you learn your word problems and your Shakespeare and your calculus and all that stuff? And then it's like,
this is sounding like you need to go through the textbooks and figure out, like, pull them together and be like, this is basis knowledge. Maybe you need to help provide the curriculum. Because a lot of the problems is we can yell all day, but they're too busy. You literally gotta present it to them, build it, and they will come, kind of thing.
Or light their butts on fire somehow. I mean, like that's the thing I try to do.
Here's an idea, Ariel. I have another idea, maybe even which is you're a really good speaker, right? And there's a good chance that you could teach some of these subjects that you're talking about, like you did for the 3D printing class. And you could do this as an after-school program for kids, right? If you're able to learn something that you feel was missing, you can actually try to run them as after-school programs. And you can make a lot of money doing after-school programs, actually, because you collect, per child. And you can actually just offer yourself to the schools nearby. You say, I do this type of program, and they're all looking for STEM classes. They're all looking for certain types of things. If you're able to start that business, that would be really, it would be immediate. You could see the effects on the individual children that you actually get into your class.
Right. And then maybe I'd like hook up with like business owners and stuff like that and see if I can create some kind of like school, like public to private connection. Because I mean, like, I was
Well,
just
then you would
amazed
be
that that
paving the
was
way too for
missing.
other people to use you as an example. You know, you could be the bulldozer, you know, laying the groundwork that is necessary before you got a road, right? Like,
Right. Like if I work with people like Ernesto or like, well, yeah, that would be cool. I'm sure you'd be happy to like tell young people about how your business works, right? If you
Oh
had
yeah,
a
I want
chance.
more people to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want more people to do their own business. I really do. That's
Yeah.
I feel that's the new way that everybody's
Lifeblood.
gonna move. Yeah, life is gonna move forward. I feel like more people are gonna be passionate about their items and they're gonna create whatever they need. There's always gonna be someone that loves the same thing you're gonna love, and they're gonna buy the same thing you're gonna buy. So why not do something that you're passionate about? And some people are not creative in that way, and they're like, "Oh, I really love that. Let's do that."
Right. And then if
You can even do
they
your,
can
so because they're actually puppet troops, right? There's puppet troops all across the country, and a lot of them do library for them. Once, for example, a particular state signs you up, they will send you all over. Like, for example, in Texas, all the libraries, the public libraries are kind of linked together. And they say, okay, this summer, we're all going to do this particular, we're going to do a theme, like space. And like one year, I think it was like science, and not science, it was like NASA and space travel, stuff like that. So all the puppet theaters, had to like come up with their own like science sort of shows, and then they would submit it for approval. Once they're approved, they travel from library to library and they perform their shows. So you could maybe create a library program. It doesn't have to be a puppet theater. It could be any kind of sort of library program. You could take that on the road too, and that could give you a chance to travel and maybe even take your show all the way to Georgia if that's where you want to go.
or maybe make like a fun animated show with like I can do accents and I can pretend like they're all around the world. Like, mommy, daddy, how does this work? Or like, oh, your son, I can teach you. And like, I can pretend. I don't know. I'm creative. I'll think of something. Yeah. I'll create. Okay, like, yeah. If I can get in touch with like an animator and stuff, and then I can like get all these personalities with one happy, one angry, one
yes,
from
right.
India, one
Ariel.
from Britain, and like.
Ariel, remember he's making friends with both puppet groups and movie industry. Okay, like literally just recognize who's part of your group.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, just like as an example, Ernesto goes to these places where there is all these artists, right?
Yes.
So like just remember to keep people in the back of your head, right? Like, hey, do you know anybody who has some free time or bored, or maybe I can join in on a conversation? Maybe there's a group call that they're doing or some kind of a group event, right? And then you just sit in on those things. You mention your beautiful idea, right? And then bam, ideas keep flowing, right? Ow, I cut my finger. Snapping, bad idea.
Well, my favorite thing about my favorite thing about working with young children, or well, I hope it brings you a little what do you call it? What do you call it when you get a little bit for maybe a little so hopefully a lot of people
I'm really opposed to clout culture, but it just seems to be, you're either there or you're not. It's like I'm more of a substance guy than I am a guy like kind of like a fame guy.
Notoriety.
Notoriety, yeah, that's kind of the same thing. It's like a nicer way to say clout, but yeah, notoriety, because I just see so many people in the world getting notoriety for like it's not even thought provoking. There's no substance in there, and I'm like, God damn it! Like one guy could just get notoriety for like something of substance, something of like true value, instead of just
that would be un-American.
Hey, look at me, I'm running down the street naked. Yeah, exactly. That's un-American, exactly.
That would be socialism. Ariel.
You know about that, Shale.
For inviting Ernesto.
Yeah, that would be socialism.
Yeah, Ariel, Ernesto, thank you for coming on the show. It's good to meet you.
Well, you guys were amazing.
Oh,
Thank you
that's
so much
amazing,
for
Ernesto.
bringing me in here. This is really amazing. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
A
we post the
pleasure.
schedule every Thursday. You're welcome to come back anytime. You can just lurk, or you can talk again if you see a guest you'd like to interact with, or you just want to
Yeah.
say hello. You're welcome back. So yeah,
It's
stay in touch.
perfect.
You're on
Always
Discord
open
now,
for
so
you. And
we'll be around.
And is your website in the? Did you put it there in the live stream chat?
It's
I don't think
artistic
he knows
flares.
how to do it.
So Faye,
Yeah.
can I do for closing too?
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Faye Doney. You can find me on Twitter at Tisdoney, TISDONEY. That's also my TikTok and what's the other T one? Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. Okay. There are just 3 T's, man. And
Do you do TikTok, Ernesto?
Yes, I do. We do TikTok. Yeah, we do that, and then we're trying to get into Twitch too. So,
yeah, no, as I've been
Awesome.
told, TikTok is like the commercial into your life, and then
Yes.
Twitch is like the actual episode, right? So
yes.
yeah, and then so just anybody who wants to just kind of see on the ground reporting for this whole Senate runoff, just stay tuned and watch the Yanggang Roundtable podcast, because that's where the scoop's gonna be, guys. Come like our Facebook page and all that stuff, just yeah. That's good.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
expecting
And
big things
Cheryl?
from you, Faye,
Oh.
when you get there. So
Thanks for watching. Thank you for speaking. We will be back again with more basic income advocacy later this weekend. My name is Shale, and you can find me on Twitter, SHAELRILEY. Yeah. Good stream, guys. Good stream.